it's very much necessary to look into it to get a clear picture of what it is that we face in life. I wanna sit down and all my life feel as if I've got rid of it, but yet still it has become some sort of a necessity, I would say. It's become necessary for me to also look into these things and open up to others that I happen to share the same. We are all sharing the same habitat. We are all in the same soup together, or let's say the same environment. We share everything together. It's necessary to sort of open up to these things. I won't spend my life thinking that I've learned or I've engaged in something which is completely garbage. And, it's as a result the reason why I do what I do or I say what I say. I can spend my whole life, in that manner. And that is what has shook me. That is what has brought me to these moments of opening up to these things. Others might feel that it's not necessary because we already know. We've learned it at school. We know it at college. We've realized these things. But so what? Just let it go. It's not about letting it go. It's not about anything of that nature. It's about you getting rid of the unnecessary things inside you. Let your natural body come into being. Be yourself. Be yourself. That yourself that you claim that you are. I want you to recognize that in so many instances, in many of us, in fact, probably every single one of us, the very personality that we claim to be us is not us. That's what I'm trying to pull it out to you. As I said, your fashionable stage that you put yourself in that moment when you step out there or you're doing whatever that gives you the pride or whatever it is that makes you, up high, shoulders high and all that. It's not really you. Your private moments is really you. You in your private moments is really you. Whether in the toilet or in the bathroom, in the bathtub, wherever place. That moment is really you. What do you see yourself at that time? Would you consider yourself in that situation in front of somebody else, a third person, a second person for that matter? No, you wouldn't. You would not even stand. You can't even take it. If you come out that way, we sort of see it as a dirty and nasty character or behavior if people are in that sort of state. And sometimes they do it for the fun of it. But I'm telling you something that if in practicality you're doing it for real, like by accident, somebody, you don't feel good, somebody comes to, all of a sudden see you in that kind of situation of your natural state of whatever you are, whatever, state that makes you react or feel the way you are, and you can see that at that level, yes, you can see that your true nature is identified. But many a times we may be very, very violent or very harsh and we consider all those things to be our true nature. And what I'm saying is that the results are coming from some of the things we're reading, the things we are into, and that violent nature that you claim to be. You're not that sort of person. Let's dig into it. Listen to some of these things I'm saying. And then it will hit you some of your ideas, some of things that you have naturally adapted when growing up, or picked from a father or a parent or something, a guardian from whatever situation that you were into. And you realize that state that you were into, that character you picked up, whatever you picked up, has become the adapted character that we're trying to sort of reveal whether it is really you or it is an adapted character. And I bet you realize that it is adapted character. The true you probably would have nothing to do with those violent attitude and probably, that untempered state that you cannot really control and all those things. So it does matter to look into all those things. We'll keep up, trying to see how we can resolve these things, how we can come to that point where man will be satisfied with these things in life. So I'm really glad if you're still listening, and I humbly share my greetings, my sincere, my sincere appreciation to your moment of listening to these things and listening to these words and details of what I'm trying to say here. And in spite of maybe my accent, if you are that kind of person with problem with accent, I mean, tell me what language is the best. An Englishman even have an accent in other languages. I bet him I put an Englishman in any other African country or Brazilian state or even Spain, and there he will be found wanting with a strong accent, not able to speak out. That's everybody has got an accent, whichever state you might find yourself in, So accent, it depends on what it is. So I don't know if you're quite the type that have not matured your mind to that state. You take it as issues, and you probably would not. You overlook the details of what the discussion is about. But listen carefully, and I'm sure I'm doing well. I'm doing well in the presentation. I'm trying, doing well. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm a human being, and I've admitted it so many times. I pointed out to you things regarding, Leviticus, the Bible. And I want to add this also up for you to see that as we continue in it, we picked up these issues about Leviticus, which stressed on laws and punishment and what Jehovah does, and knowing what our view is about Jehovah. I'm trying to pull out to you that, hey, is Jehovah what we think he is? I said, I don't think so. It's something that we have to really be careful about when we sort of just conclude, in whatever we worship today. These days, this generation worship is what I'm more concerned about. It has nothing, no relations to what we read about of those who were then worshiping. It's like it's completely, it has over time changed and become something else, manifest into something else, or has become something else. And we are not recognizing it because we are blinded with so many things in our life. We are so occupied with so many things. And when somebody is occupied with so many things, it's another form of way which people get controlled and get, used, or being ruled in so many ways. If somebody want to rule you, and the leader in certain things can apply certain things, entertainment and all these things are used to keep people into the sort of state that they need to be in order for you to sort of be able to direct and rule that group or that society. And it works sometimes. So we have to really consider these things when it comes to it. The things, a few things that I wanted to pull out was in Leviticus 21. It says the holiness of the priest. The holiness of a priest. Something to define, pulling out who a priest is, and all about what is required of a priest in the presence of the living God. And I circled one here called verse 23, which says, only he shall not go near the veil or approach the altar, because he has a defect, lest he profane my sanctuaries, for I, the Lord, sanctify them. And Moses told it to Aaron and his sons, and to all the children of Israel. He may eat the bread of his God, both the most holy and the holy. As somebody who has got defects, and that time Aaron was an appointed priest, the brother of Moses, an appointed priest in that time. So if somebody has got defects, it's some sort of where God is trying to say, if he's not very clean or that, he can come close to me, or he can come close to anywhere around me or where my altar is. Now, what do you think of that? God is merciful. God is clean. Whatever is the defect is, I don't think there's anything, because God was alone in the entire world, as we learn from Genesis. Weren't there defects? Has there not been defect? Has not he been the one that commands and controls the defects and the things that are not defects? I mean, look, is there